Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Bola Tinubu concludes official visit to China, meets Nigerians in that country, describes trip as very good and successful. Minister of Finance Olawale Edun, who is part of the president's entourage to China, say there are lots of lessons to learn from China in order to sustain inclusive growth. And as the clock ticks towards the September 21st Edo governorship election, the PDP takes its campaign to Uromi and other parts of Esan land, just as the APC continues its engagement with the electorate in Akoko-Edo local government area.
On Business News tonight, Corporate Affairs Commission set to shut down unregistered point-of-sales business operators as 60-day deadline for registration expires.
On sports, Onyinyechi Mark wins Team Nigeria's first gold medal at the Paralympic Games, setting 2 world records at the women's powerlifting event in Paris.
And from the capital, federal government denies claims of pegging the age limit for candidates taking the senior secondary school examination, as well as the university's matriculation examination.
From London, the Ministry of Education has said 17 pupils have died after a dormitory at a boarding school in central Kenya caught fire.
President Bola Tinubu has described his official visit to Beijing, China as very good and successful. Addressing members of Nigerians in diaspora organization and the Nigerian community in China, the president emphasized his efforts to strengthen cooperation in infrastructure, trade, finance, energy, green economy, and mining during his discussions with President Xi Jinping, the Premier Li Qiang, and his participation at the 2024 summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. In the statement by a special advisor on media, Ajuri Ngalale, President Tinubu also emphasized the importance of discipline and commitment to national service, citing China's disciplined society as an example for Nigerians to follow. Making reference to the recent increase in fuel prices, the president said Nigeria is going through reforms and his administration is taking very bold and unprecedented decisions. He also noted that while it is not always easy for a leader to have a national consensus on issues, he is ready to take the hard decisions to move the nation forward. Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Mr. Olawale Edun, who is part of President Bola Tinubu's entourage to China, spoke exclusively to our London correspondent, Juliana Olayinka, about the gains of the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in Beijing.
Around 1990, I think the GDP per capita of Nigeria was actually ahead of China's, but they have since left us behind. And the lesson is that we have a lot of catching up to do, but they have done it in a relatively few number of years, in a couple of decades or so. And so that should be our own objective. That should be the example that we must look to follow, that we must have rapid, sustained, and inclusive growth year after year for a decade, for 2 decades, and then that will take us to the kind of modernity, the kind of advance, the kind of lifting of people out of poverty on a massive scale. They have achieved it here, and that indeed is the objective of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In terms of the domestic economy, all the signs are that, yes, the corner is being turned. GDP in two quarters has grown, has increased, and it is above population growth. So it means that there is progress in that important front. Likewise, inflation has started coming down. The reserves are building up. The trade balance is positive. The current account is positive. So we don't have any balance of payments problem as such. And of course, we are looking to for the exchange rate to continue to stabilize And eventually that should be able to lead to a lowering of interest rates, which again would give a boost to domestic investment. And the key, what China has done and what is achieved, the key is investment, domestic investment, attraction of foreign direct investment that creates jobs, that increases productivity and grows the economy and reduces poverty. So that is the clear goal and target, and to date there has been progress, and we just need a bigger, more momentum in the direction that we are already going. And one of the things that has given confidence at this time is we have just completed, I would say, in the completion stages of an important domestic issue of dollar bonds. And what that does is that it shows the resilience. The success of it will show the resilience of the Nigerian economy and the ability of Nigerians to depend on their own resources, the ability of the government to attract with its policies savings of Nigerians from abroad, whether they be Nigerians living in Nigeria who are keeping money abroad, or whether it be Nigerians living abroad who now decide to save some of their money in the Nigerian economy. It is the ability to attract resources for investment that is the key to rapid development.
Back here in Nigeria, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has struck out the appeal by governorship aspirants of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State, Arthur Esene and Anselm Ojezua, seeking to disqualify the party's candidate in the September 21st, 2024 governorship election, Mr. Asue Ighodalo. The aspirants, Esene and Ojezua, had in their appeal prayed the Court of Appeal to set aside the April 17th judgment by Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja, which dismissed their suit for being statute barred. Justice Omotosho, in his judgment, had held that not only did they fail to prove their claim that Mr. Ighodalo forged his voter's card, non-possession of voter's card did not constitute a disqualifying factor under the Constitution and the Electoral Act to deny a candidate from contesting election. In a unanimous judgment delivered by Justice Hama Barka, the appellate court affirmed the judgment by Justice Omotosho and held that the suit filed before the Federal High Court by Ojezua and 4 others was filed out of time and statute barred. Justice Barka also agreed with the decision of the Federal High Court that not only did Ojezua and others fail to establish their claim that Ighodalo forged his voter's card, their suit was bereft of any merit because it was based on a flawed assumption. Justice Baraka, after striking out the appeal for lacking in merit, awarded a cost of 3 million naira against the appellants and in favor of Asue Ighodalo, the PDP, and INEC. Meanwhile, the Edo governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Asue Ighodalo, says the court cases are distracting. This is in spite of his latest victory in the appeal court. Mr. Ighodalo, who was speaking on the sidelines of the PDP governorship campaign rally in Uromi and Igwebe, lamented the litigations ahead of the forthcoming Edo governorship poll.
The atmosphere is carnival-like inside the Okuje Demonstration Primary School, venue of the PDP governorship rally in Urumi, Esa Northeast local government area. A fashion parade for some, with lots of side attractions to entertain the crowd. The message here is no different from those at previous campaign grounds. Votes for the PDP on September 21, 2024. The campaign moves to another rally venue in Igwebe. The PDP leaders insist that Asue Ighodalo is a consensus candidate for Esa land.
It came out by the choice of Esa people. This is Esa land, Esa agenda. Nobody who has the blood of Esa land in his veins will do otherwise. If Esan say yes, Namigo say no. Now that Esan say na Aswe, not be Aswe go be. But I thank God, say Esan get sense. They get sense well.
Earlier in the day, there was good news for the PDP after the appeal court struck out the appeal by 2 governorship aspirants seeking to disqualify the party's candidates. In spite of the victory, Mr. Ighodalo is concerned that some members are bent on ensuring the party is without a candidate for the election.
People wanted to achieve a situation where our party had no candidate and they didn't care. And what would have been the consequence of that? PDP would have had no candidate, so the help and the progress of the people will become stunted and clearly shows lack of love for the people. So those are the things that truly hurt them and bother me.
The People's Democratic Party governorship campaign team concludes its tour of the Central Senatorial District of Edo State with a homage to one of the founding fathers of the party, the late Anthony Aneni.
Still on the forthcoming Edo governorship poll, the provision of adequate security, primary health care, interest-free loans for traders, as well as improvement in the education system in Edo State are some of the promises the APC campaign team took to Akoko Edo local government area as it opened its ward-to-ward campaign in Edo North Senatorial District. The campaign team took its message of planned rapid development across Ibilo, Ososo Town and Igara, the headquarters of Akoko Edo local government area.
From Ibilo to Ososo in Akoko Edo local government area of Edo State, APC party faithful and supporters take a break from their normal businesses to listen to the APC governorship campaign team as it seeks support towards victory on 21st September.
You in Edo North, we are telling you, particularly Akoko Edo, vote for Senator Monday Ukpegolo and the deputy Honorable Dennis in the House on the 21st of September, which is less than 3 weeks from now. Now your vote will not be lost. You will come back to glory. You will come back to the path of development of Akoko Edo, because our hearts too are with you.
In Igara, the APC leaders ask that the support seen on this day translates to votes on election day, as development of the area as well as the entire Edo State is a major focus of the party. They speak of plans to revive the Ujirami Dam through joint efforts, even though the project is long-term.
If that Ujirami Dam is fixed, the people across this neighborhood, when I was growing up, when that place was working, we had people buy more water from here to outside. So those for me are the issue of development.
Primary health care, agriculture and the education sector are some of the areas the APC's governorship candidate says he has captured in his manifesto to bring development to the people.
Continue from where he stopped. We will bring back our schools. We will provide you with security. We send away the people who from our land. Kidnappers have no place in our land. We will revive back our Ujirami Dam.
The APC campaign team, in addition to soliciting votes, also appeals that the electorate ensure that their vote counts on election day.
In part 2, after the break, All Progressives Congress APC unveils the Progressive Institute in the nation's capital, plus former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Kano Agabi challenges the federal government to take decisive action in order to address the hydra-headed problem of corruption. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live from Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu concludes official visit to China, meets Nigerians in that country, describes trip as very good and successful. Minister of Finance Olawale Edun, who's part of the president's entourage to China, say there are lots of lessons to learn from China in order to sustain inclusive growth. As the clock ticks towards the September 21st Edo governorship election, the PDP takes its campaign to Uromi and other parts of Esan land, just as the APC continues its engagement with the electorate in Akoko Edo local government. And the Ministry of Education has said 17 pupils have died after a dormitory at a boarding school in central Kenya caught fire on Thursday night. Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State is advocating an ideology politics to sustain democracy in Nigeria. The governor, who is the chairman, Progressive Governors Forum, made the call at the unveiling of the Progressive Institute of the All Progressives Congress in Abuja. Our correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
Leaders of the All Progressives Congress, led by the national chairman of the party, Mr. Abdullahi Ganduje, some federal government officials, lawmakers under the party are among guests at the formal unveiling of the Progressive Institute. The Progressive Institute is the brainchild of the ruling party in the country, and it's designed to serve as a compass to guide the party towards achieving its goals.
This, we believe, will enhance the policy capacity of the party, especially enable it to provide policy advice and suggestions for the consideration of governments elected on its platform.
This achievement by the APC leadership is commended by guests, including the Bishop of Sokoto Catholic Diocese, who believes politics should be about good governance.
Major policy decisions in this country are taken through the necromancy of illiterate people who are sitting somewhere and chewing kola nut and doing nothing with their lives except projecting that this is what is going to happen. And so I'm saying, therefore, that this institution is there, for me, is important for me, because we need to move from speculation to science. It's important, and since I'm speaking to those who are in power, please know that we Nigerians are hungry. Find a way of reducing the price of fuel. Find a way of keeping our country secure. That will be the greatest legitimacy of any government.
The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, emphasizes the role of ideology as a bedrock for the sustenance of democracy.
Good governance is where a government strives to attend to the needs of the people and indeed manages the finances of the nation transparently and honestly to the satisfaction of the electorate. Under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, we are now putting these ideals into action towards social welfare. We have announced the reinstatement and expansion of our social investment programs with an ambitious goal of providing direct support to 75 million Nigerians across 50 million households.
His view is reiterated by the representative of Vice President Kashim Shettima.
The idea of a think tank and an intellectual resource center of our great party is not only timely, but strategic. It is strategic because of the need to change the paradigm of engagement between the All Progressive Congress and the Nigerian electorate.
After speeches, the unveiling is done. Already, the Imo State government is indicating interest to enlist politicians into the institutes.
The local government remains the closest government to the people. So when they emerge and become councillors and chairmen, it is proper for us to provide a platform for them to come here and then pass through the program by the institute on how best to manage grassroots governance.
While this achievement of the All Progressives Congress is considered a commendable feat, speakers at this unveiling are hoping that the vision of the institute translates to quality governance in the country, especially at a time that the party is at the helm of affairs. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
A former Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mr. Kanu Agabi, is appealing to political leaders in the country to take decisive action to address the critical challenges confronting Nigeria. Mr. Agabi, who was delivering a lecture at the 23rd Mike Okonkwo yearly public lecture, says the country has lingered enough at the mountain of corruption, which must be addressed as soon as possible. He urges the government to find a way to fight corruption without destroying the economy.
The problem is when we are not sincere.
Dignitaries, family, friends, Christian leaders gather for the Mike Okonkwo annual lecture. The 2024 edition focuses on creating a corruption-free country. Chairman of the occasion, Mr. Atado Peterside, kickstarts the conversation, highlighting steps that can help achieve positive changes in the country.
If you're not happy with the way Nigeria is going, if you think Nigeria should be achieving a lot more, then I put it to you that if you want to inspire change, there are only three things you can do. One, you can either talk about things that can help to bring about the change. Perhaps if change has not come about by how we were talking before, then probably we've not said the right things to the right people, to the right intensity.
A former Attorney General of the Federation and a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Kanu Agabi, who is the guest speaker of the annual lecture, did not mince words about the current economic situation in the country.
As a nation, we are not happy. Globalization means that the rest of the world is closing in upon us. And unless we are very careful indeed, we shall have nothing to bequeath to our posterity. We have lingered enough at the mountain of corruption and all its attendant evils. Like the prodigal son, we must now arise and return to our Father.
He also speaks about leadership with integrity.
Our leaders must have vision of where they are taking the nation. They must be driven by a passionate and inordinate drive to succeed. They must be driven by a desire to accomplish deeds that will gain the lasting respect of the people. They must communicate with the people. They must listen to the people.
The event then moves to the part where winners of the 19th Mike Okonkwo national competition are unveiled.
₦500,000 naira, trophy, plaque, and a set of computers. Olaoye flourish. Christ the King International School.
The convener, presiding bishop of the Redeemed Evangelical Mission, Bishop Mike Okonkwo, encourages Nigerians to work towards the change they want to see.
Be the change you want. Make up your mind that you yourself, where you are in the little corner you are. Don't say, well, the system is already corrupt, what do you want me to do? No. I believe that if we start from the kindergarten, from nursery school, in the next 10 years, 15 years, we'll have a new crop of leaders that will rise up in the country.
For over 2 decades, the annual lecture has become a major platform to discuss burning national issues and reward the writing skills of Nigerian youths towards national development.
Happy birthday to you. All glory to God.
So let's head to the nation's capital now, where Gloria Umezuke is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Gloria.
Thank you, Ayo. We turn attention now to the education sector, where the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, has denied claims that there is an age limit for candidates taking secondary school examinations like WAEC, NECO, and JAMB. He clarified this during the International Literacy Day ministerial briefing in Abuja. Dr. Sununu also stated that exemptions may be made for underage students applying to federal higher institutions if they are considered exceptional, based on criteria currently being developed by the ministry.
This we have been clearing issues, and we have made ourselves clear in different fora, but it kept recording here and there. It kept recording. Actually, nobody among the two of us
stated anything about age for WAEC, NECO, MBIAS, National Business and Technical Education Examination Board examination that has to do with age. That was not mentioned. But people just imply from statement to say that this is what it means. All we have been mentioning is about age of entry or admission into university. Please, we have made this clear. It's about the age of entry into university.
At least 22 people have been abducted by bandits who attacked Mane village in Rido Ward in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State in the early hours of Thursday morning. The victims include a nursing mother with 4 children, young persons and an infant. Although the police authorities in Kaduna State are yet to confirm the incident, a youth leader in Rido community, Zakaria Musa told Channels Television that the bandits stormed the community in large numbers where the residents slept, started shooting and later moved from house to house to abduct people. In another incident, bandits attacked Danhono 2, New Millennium City, also in Chikun local government, where they abducted a nurse and her 3 sons. Security agencies have not responded to the recent upsurge of attacks, but local sources told our correspondent that the bandits invaded Danhono 2 community on Wednesday night and scared the residents with gunshots before taking away some people. The abducted woman, the nurse, was later abandoned inside the bush owing to her ailing health, but the bandits went away with her 3 children. We're still ahead on the news at 10. Corporate Affairs Commission set to shut down unregistered point-of-sale business operators as 60-day deadline for registration expires. But that's in business news. Please join us again. Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. In Gombe State, Governor Inuwa Yahaya has flagged off the 2023-2024 vaccination exercise, targeting over 3 million livestock in the state against contagious diseases. As the exercise in the state capital, Governor Yahaya indicates his administration's commitment to bolstering animal husbandry, ensuring food security, and enhancing the GDP of the state. Since assumption of office in 2019, Governor Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe State has been carrying out the vaccination of animals in the state every year. The vaccination is in line with the National Livestock Transformation Plan of the federal government, which aims to boost animal production.
The livestock sector is taking care of and is doing its own or giving its own contribution to the GDP and the economy of the state and Nigeria at large. We pledge that we will continue doing so, and I've urged the people, both the farmers and hunters, are twins. We are in one place because God has destined that we be here, and there is no reason why we have any commotion.
The state has already domesticated the plan under the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project.
I want to thank Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for specifically establishing a Ministry of Livestock Development at the federal level. And with it, we'll be able to ensure that there is synergy between the state, the local governments, and indeed our local communities, so that the federal government will give the guide as we deliver in our livestock sector and the agriculture sector, so that we guarantee the food security of this very country.
This 5th edition of the vaccination is targeting 3 million animals in the state and is already impacting livestock business in the state.
His Excellency has approved the procurement of 800,000 doses of CBV vaccine, 1,200,000 doses of PPR vaccine, and 800,000 doses of anthrax swab vaccines for the year 2023-24. Statewide vaccination against transboundary animal diseases. And it is worthy to note that this vaccination exercise is free of charge for the benefit of livestock farmers.
On the back of the efforts to revive the Wawazange Grazing Reserve, the state government is hoping to establish an international livestock market to upscale livestock export and attract foreign exchange. Well, that's it from the nation's capital. For more on the news at 10, it's back to you, Ayo, in Lagos.
Many thanks, Gloria. As part of efforts to improve its marine operations in Nigeria, the West African Container Terminal WACT has unveiled its $115 million terminal upgrade at the Onne Port facility in Rivers State. The upgraded facility, which was commissioned by Vice President Kashim Shettima, is a major investment by WACT's parent company, APM Terminals, which they say underscores the commitment to Nigeria's economic growth.
It's a full house at the West Africa Container Terminal in Onne, Rivers State, as dignitaries, including representatives of the Vice President, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, ministers, representatives of the Rivers State government, bosses of various security agencies, amongst others, converge for the inauguration. The West Africa Container Terminal receives praise from the Vice President for its upgraded state-of-the-art facility. The Vice President, who is represented at the event by the Special Advisor to the President on Subnational Infrastructure, also echoes the current administration's support for maritime trade.
The expansion of this terminal will increase cargo handling capacity, reduce congestion, and enhance the efficiency of our ports. The impact of this project will be felt far beyond this port. It will boost economic activity in the region, create jobs, and stimulate growth.
Another goodwill message from the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, who is also represented, further assures of his ministry's support for terminal operators.
With the establishment of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, it is clear that Mr. President has focused his attention on this sector of the economy. And this is why this kind of investments have started springing up in this sector.
Undeterred by challenges in its field, the Chief Operating Officer of APM Terminals explains that the massive investment in the $115 million upgrade is all the more important because the company is committed to making Nigeria a major trading hub in West Africa.
These are not shallow statements, but are strongly backed by numbers. Nigeria's GDP has grown by 3.2% in the last quarter, showing the remarkable state of Africa's largest economy. With a population of over 230 million, nearly 70% of whom are under 30, making it the country with the largest youth population in the world. Nigeria is not just a market, it's a powerhouse of potential.
All right. With the massive upgrade, WACT has improved safety standards through optimized container stacking, state-of-the-art access control, and the 1 megawatt solar power generating facility, all in a bid to maximize its operations to full capacity.
Time now for some business news with Jocko Rogers.
Thank you, Ayatunde. Welcome to more business news. The Corporate Affairs Commission says it has commenced the process of taking drastic actions, including shutting down point-of-sales businesses that have failed to register their businesses as its September 5 deadline expires. The registration directive was widely made public on July 7. This development comes as the fintech business owners under the aegis of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria have challenged the CAC's registration directive in court, even as they insist the mandatory registration was illegal. In a statement released today, the Commission said that it's now working closely with law enforcement agencies and other relevant stakeholders to develop and implement a robust enforcement process that will target the shutdown of non-compliant businesses. While economic headwinds seems to be deterring business growth, the chairman of Odua Investment Company, Mr. Bimbo Ashiru, says the adoption of corporate governance and transparency helped to buffer the negativity. Mr. Ashiru, who was a guest on Business Morning today, is asking businesses to embrace partnerships in related ventures.
The key area we are looking at is corporate governance. You see, we are very critical in this business. For us at Odua, we have experienced a reasonable level of stability and growth over the last 4 years. We are focusing on areas where they are living. For example, we know that agriculture is the way to go. With the 40,000 hectares of land and around the southwest, when we grow all these things, we are focusing on that. And then it's very important, and we are collaborating. We believe in joint ventures. We look at areas where there are needs. Yes, I understand that there are issues. The economy is tough, but inflation is right and is increasing, and standard of living, yes, is falling. But at the same time, that's why we say we must make the best out of the bad situation, and that's what we are doing.
Well, in all of this, there's still positive news for Odua Investment Company Limited following an upgrade of its ratings from A to A+ by Augusto & Co. OICL's upgrade is based on the assessment of the financial condition of Odua Investment as a standalone entity and reflects the company's good operating cash flow, diversified revenue sources, and a funding structure currently built on internal sources and joint venture partnerships. The company has operations across various sectors of Nigeria's economy and the potential for increase in earnings through its portfolio rebalancing efforts and growth initiatives. Let's take a look at the domestic stock market, which ends Friday's trading session in the green as some bellwether stocks helps to return it to winning ways. Inijo Mekwa has the details. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Reports. Well, thank God it's Friday, but thank God more that the NGX closed in the green. And it's because of Owando. Yes, Owando is back as a market mover, moving to the green direction today. It opened at 74 naira, but closed at 81 naira 40 kobo, gaining a whole 7 naira 40 kobo at the close of trade. Well, thanks to O&O, green sentiment around it. Now, let's look at the sectors. Banking was down yesterday, but today it's back up 0.56%. FBN Holding, UBA, and Zenith Bank drove that. Consumer goods also recovered from yesterday's drop. It's up 0.11%. That's because investors did a lot of cherry picking on flour mill and Nigerian breweries. Now, Owando may be in the green, but its counter is in the red. So not strong enough to move that counter. And because of Eternal Oil, we saw a lot of investors taking profit on Eternal Oil today. So that's why that counter is in the red. At the close of trade, Friday's trade, 129 billion naira was added to the market cap to bring it to 55.394 trillion naira. So not enough to cover the 2 sessions of negative trades we had this week, but at least it's a little bit of gains right there. And the all-share index is 0.23% up. So for the weekend, at least we have the bull to our joy. That's it on Business News tonight. Ayotunde, back to you.
Thank you, Joke. The Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the World Health Organization today launched a response plan to the outbreak of Mpox with an estimated budget of close to $600 million. The joint initiative, which aims to accelerate Africa's response to the virus, will get underway this month and run through till February next year. Here's Simon Pusey with other international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The Ministry of Education has said 17 pupils have died after a dormitory at a boarding school in central Kenya caught fire. There were fears the death toll could rise, with 14 other children taken to hospital with injuries. More than 150 pupils were in the dormitory when it caught fire at around midnight local time. The school caters for children between 5 and 12. The cause of the fire is not yet known. President William Ruto called the fire horrific and devastating and has ordered an investigation. Israeli forces have withdrawn from Jenin city and its refugee camp in the occupied West Bank after a major 9-day operation there. The area, a stronghold of militants and with a civilian population of around 60,000, was targeted in one of the IDF's biggest actions in the West Bank for years. The Israeli Defense Forces said it was acting against terrorism. At least 36 Palestinians were killed, 21 from the Jenin area. That's according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. Meanwhile, a 26-year-old American woman has been shot dead in the occupied West Bank during a protest. The Turkish lady is reported to have been taking part in a protest against Jewish settlement expansion in the town of Beitar near Nablus. A 14-year-old boy and his father have faced court for the first time, charged over the murder of 4 people in a gun attack at a Georgia high school.
All right, good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Colt Gray? Sir. My name's Curry Mingledorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's proceedings.
Colt Gray, a pupil at the school, was arrested shortly after the shooting on Wednesday at Appalachia High School in Winder near Atlanta. He appeared in person in court on Friday, charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. His father, 54-year-old Colin Gray, is charged with involuntary manslaughter, second-degree murder and child cruelty, and is accused of allowing his son to possess an AR-15 rifle. The judge clarified that the 14-year-old would not face execution after first stating the maximum penalty was death.
Colin is Colt Gray's father that was arrested yesterday. He is charged with the following: 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children.
The UK will send hundreds more short-range missiles to Ukraine, it was announced, ahead of a summit where Volodymyr Zelensky asked for authorization to strike targets deep inside Russia with Western-supplied weapons. The Ukrainian president made another impassioned plea for further military support during the opening stages of the summit at the Ramstein air base in Germany. He said the eastern region of Donetsk, where Kyiv's forces are facing Russian attacks in particular, depended on the swift delivery of aid. Also at the summit is UK Defence Secretary John Healey, who will confirm the £162 million package, which includes the supply of 650 lightweight multi-role missiles. Germany could make use of facilities funded by the UK to process some asylum seekers in Rwanda, the country's Migration Agreements Commissioner has suggested. Joachim Stamp from the Free Democratic Party, which is a junior partner in the coalition government, suggested accommodation originally intended for people deported from the UK could be utilised by Germany. However, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has previously expressed scepticism about processing asylum applications abroad, and the idea is unlikely to be taken forward. A popular tourist island south of mainland China has been hit by the most powerful typhoon in a decade, leaving the area facing potentially catastrophic winds and torrential rain. Super Typhoon Yagi slammed into Wenchang City in the northeast of Hainan Islands with winds of 223 kilometers an hour at 4 p.m. local time on Friday. Yagi is the strongest to hit Hainan since Ramasun in 2014, which left 46 people dead. China's weather agency said it is the strongest typhoon to make landfall in the autumn. And an official memorial to the late Queen Elizabeth II is going to be placed in St James's Park in London. It is expected to take the form of a statue or sculpture, with plans for the final design expected to be revealed by the centenary of the late Queen's birth in 2026. The decision to build the memorial there, in a spot not far from the Mall, comes ahead of Sunday's 2nd anniversary of Queen Elizabeth's death. The location means that tourists visiting Buckingham Palace will be able to take a short walk to see the new monument commemorating Britain's longest reigning monarch. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Many thanks indeed, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Interim manager Augustine Eguavoen has declared that the Super Eagles of Nigeria are raring to go for all 6 points available in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying matches against Benin Republic and Rwanda. The Super Eagles will clash with the cheaters of Benin Republic in Uyo this Saturday and then keep a date with Rwanda's Amavubi in Kigali 3 days later.
You know, this game comes with pressure. Nigeria, we've placed ourselves so high that when we're playing against any team, they come with everything. So our Nigerians, because of a love for the game, it's nothing but winning. So that's where the pressure comes. But we are equal to the task. Definitely we are relaxed. The skipper talked about it. The mood is good. We are at home. So nobody comes to our home and dictate what will happen to us. Under pressure, not really, but we're relaxed.
Away from football, let's take you to the Paralympic Games, where Nigeria's Onyechi Mark has won Team Nigeria's first gold medal earlier today. Mark won gold in the women's up to 61 kg in a remarkable way, smashing her own world record by lifting a breathtaking weight of 147 kg. And she didn't stop there. The Umuahia-born para-athlete lifted 150 kg for another world record. She also made light work of her first attempt, easily lifting 140 kg to go into the lead and in gold medal contention, breaking the Paralympic record, lifting 145 kg in her second attempt. In the meantime, an excited president of the Paralympics Committee of Nigeria, Sunday Odebode, has commended the Ministry of Sports Development for the support for athletes ahead of the Games. Odebode told that Channel's TV correspondent Austin Okonakpan, who is covering the Summer Games in Paris, that the PCN will focus on preparations for the LA Games in 2028.
For the first time, the home-based athletes, with the Honorable Minister, approve a grant for the home-based athletes for the first time in the history of Paralympics. And it's going to be in a good ovation. We are starting preparation immediately after the Paralympics. We are not waiting for maybe 1 year, 2 months, 3 month preparation. Preparation starts immediately after the Paralympics. We are pleading to all Nigerians to give their support to people living with disability.
And Japan's Kamiji Yu has won the gold in the wheelchair tennis women's singles match, but she had to do so by beating the defending champion Diede de Groot 4-6, 6-3 and 6-4. And that's your sports news tonight. I am Kelly Egiga. Back to you today.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu today concluded his official visit to China as he met with Nigerians in that country. He described the trip as very good and successful. And as the clock ticks towards the September 21st Edo governorship poll, the PDP took its campaign to Uromi and other parts of Esan land, just as the APC continued its engagement with the electorate in Akukwedo local government area. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. Have a great weekend.